This wind is something else today. My knees are killing me. Anyway, oh, I forgot to show you my food. Well, I'll show it later when I made more. Like there's, I just put navy beans with mine. Like it's the spiralized beans, and then pasta sauce that I made on top with. So what I've been doing is I've been juicing the bell peppers right away and drinking the juice when I bring them home. And then I get as much of the vitamin C out of the bell peppers as I can. And then I mince up the pulp from the bell peppers and I make whatever with it. So last week it was the pumpkin soup, and that was probably more pepper pulp than pumpkin. And this week it's pasta sauce. So I don't know what I'll do with the rest of the pulp because I'm still juicing peppers. So I'll do something with it later. But anyway, I might make lasagna because somebody gave me a bunch of lasagna noodles, so that was nice. It worked out well, but I remembered why I didn't do this. So I'm cooking the pasta sauce, and I was going to cook the beets in the cast iron pan while the pasta sauce was cooking, and then I was like, wait a minute, why don't I just stick it on the pasta sauce and then it can steam there? Well, now my whole pasta sauce is purple. That's why. I suppose I could do that with the spiralized yams and it would be fun. Anyway, but when I serve this to James later, instead of because this is not exciting. I remember when I was in university, I went to I was having serious health problems. I couldn't figure out why, because I was eating healthy. And it turned out that what I needed was a tumor removed. Because until that happened, I couldn't get on top of it. But anyway, so I was unhealthy, and I decided, okay, well, I was going through nutrition texts. I was going through, and I was trying to figure out how in the world am I not healthy when all of this, like I'd run into problems where I was, anyway, it doesn't matter. What I'm trying to say, I went to a nutritionist. Well, it turned out she was a dietitian, but they were advertising her there as a nutritionist, and then later on I ran into, she wasn't a friend at the time, she became a friend, and she was an actual nutritionist, and she was like, she's not a nutritionist, she's a dietitian. Anyway, but I went to see the dietitian and at the university there, and it didn't cost very much, and she was quite helpful. She didn't understand why I wasn't healthy either, because she was looking at all, like I listed everything that I was eating and how much and all that. Anyway, but she did give me some good tips. Where I'm trying to go with this is it only cost, I think it was $15 for me to see her. Now that was a while ago, but not that long ago. It was so worth it. She gave me a lot of tips that I hadn't thought about. Now, they're not the kind of things that I would necessarily want to do unless I had to, but she gave me tips like, if you don't have any room to store food in your place, you can stuff under your beds or wherever with cans of beans, and then you have it. So whatever you're eating, like if it's this spiralized beet pasta sauce dish and you're in a pinch for throwing some protein onto it, you can open up a can of beans and there you go. But I mean, as it turned out, these navy beans, I'd cook them myself in the slow cooker and no problem with that, but whatever. And I don't believe in keeping cans of anything around you can keep things in jars and reuse the jars over again, but you can't. Every time you buy something that needs to be recycled, it just costs energy to recycle it. It's not like that. I mean, people think of aluminum cans as just as not waste or whatever, but it is. So it's better to not get cans of anything. Anyway, but oftentimes people give me cans of things, and okay, thank you, So I appreciate it. I'm not saying I don't. I appreciate everything that people, it's very thoughtful when people give me food. But I would rather have dried beans. I can cook them myself, and then I don't have the waste of the can. But, because, I mean, you can store bags or Tupperware containers or whatever full of dried beans underneath your bed rather than cans. But anyway, the point is, I think any student would probably benefit from paying the $15 or whatever, it might be $20 now, to see the dietitian, not the nutritionist, because they don't have one. Anyway, what I was going to say. I sure went off on a lot of things here. Anyway, what I was going to say is when I serve this to James, you'll see it'll look a lot better. It'll still be purple, which it shouldn't be. But you cook the meat separately. That's what you do. And you remember that there's a reason why you cook it separately. You don't want everything to be purple. It's much more appealing visually if not the whole dish is purple. Anyway, what I was going to say, when I serve it to James later, it'll have beet balls on it. And that's maybe too much beet, because I have the beet pasta-ish looking stuff, right? It'd be nicer if I had yam. It would have been nicer all around, because then I wouldn't have a purple dish right now. And then with the beet balls on top. But I'm sure he'll like it. Isle of Dogs. It's a Wes Anderson film. And the little puppets are very cute. It has lots of voices in it. Let's see, Scarlett Johansson, Jeff Goldblum, Bill Murray, of course, right? It's Edward Norton, Harvey Keitel, Yoko Ono, Frank Wood. So, lots of people that you recognize. Their voices show up in this. And a lot of people don't like Wes Anderson. I know my brother-in-law does not. Or his films. I don't know Wes Anderson personally, and neither does my brother-in-law. So, anyway. But some of these dogs are awfully cute. But anyway, I like Wes Anderson films because they're always artful. And this is a very different kind of art than his other films. Still very artful. I enjoy that. Now, having said that, they're not the most exciting films. So, I mean, I often do things like fall asleep while I'm watching them. Does that prevent me from watching them again? Or from watching the next one he comes up with? No way. They're always art-filled. Not always exciting. Never exciting, actually. But I appreciate them. They're very different than anything else that other people are putting out. So I appreciate that. And I enjoyed watching this. Even though, yes, I did fall asleep at one point. But I did enjoy it. Now, the Marvel stuff. This is Ant-Man and the Wasp. And, I mean, nobody's going to fall asleep while watching this. It's very exciting. Very different movie. And, you know, maybe my problem was I watched this first, and I was just way too wound up. And then this came on, and I went kerplunk. Anyway, but well, and it could have been that I didn't get very much sleep the previous night, so I actually needed to make up. But the day before, I'd gotten 11 hours sleep or something like that, so whatever. But entertaining. I enjoyed this one too, and I think everyone should. Elvis Presley, The Searcher. I thought it was excellent. I've never appreciated Elvis so much as I did watching this. And it's quite long. How long was it? 205 minutes. So, I don't know, James might want to talk about it later. But anyway, very good. So, I'm going to go in because it's really cold with that wind. Even though it's sunny, and what can you do? I thought it'd be better. Ow.